Well, hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's your number one Fat Asian coming to you again with another one of these intriguing FIFA 18 experiments. And today, we got a fun one. We have the worst possible defensive team in the game versus the best defensive team in the game. The way that I've determined what dictates the worst defensive team is one on SoFifa.com, and they actually have a score there for defense or total defense, which is a combination of their marking, stand tackle, as well as slide tackle, I believe. And with that score, I just looked up, who were the crappiest at defense in their position and who was the best at defense in their position. And what was kind of interesting was not necessarily the highest rated player would have the best defensive rating and vice versa. So for example, Sergio Ramos is the highest rated center back in FIFA 18, but he's not the best defensive center back in FIFA 18. That honor actually goes to Chiellini. So kind of interesting wrinkles like that. Once I got those ratings, I created two teams, that being the crappiest defensive team that you could possibly have, which means the striker with the worst defensive stats, as well as, the center backs with the worst defensive stats. So it's not going to be like a whole team of like goalkeepers or something. And this is the team that I came up with. I have placed them on West Brom, and they're pretty horrific. Starting up top, as you can see, they're a bunch of like nobodies that you probably never heard of. But if we go into their stats right here, you can see, I think this Espinoza guy actually has the worst defensive ratings of anybody in the game, because you can see that he has 10 marking, 10 slide tackle, 10 stand tackle. I don't think you're going to get much worse than that. And everyone else is kind of in the same ballpark. As you can see, this Warren kid is, 10. He's got a decent 12 for a slide tackle and then 10 for stand tackle. And then you can see it here in the midfield as well. I mean, none of them are all that great at defensive stats. They're better. I mean, this guy's a 20 in marking, a 21 in slide tackle, and an 18 in stand tackle, but it's not that much better. Even the CDM, who's like 47 rated, his marking's at 30, which looks a lot better than the strikers and whatnot, and his slide tackle's at 52, and his stand tackle's at 41, which isn't even that bad. Like, you take a look at a couple of these center backs over here, I think they might be worse. Like, his marking's 37, and then his slide tackle is 46, and his stand tackle is 54. So it's like slightly better. And then for the keeper position, I didn't take into account their defensive stats. I just took, technically their job is to be defensive. So I took the lowest rated goalkeepers and placed them on this team, and then I took the highest rated goalkeepers and I placed it on the all defense team. And then there are, it's a complete full team of guys that aren't all that great. This is the highest rated player on here. He's a center mid named Torres. As you can see, his stats aren't too bad, but somehow his defensive stats, like he's got an 11 in marking, he's got a 12 in slide tackle, and then all of a sudden he jumps all the way up to 52 in stand tackle. That's pretty much all I'm going to go over for the all defensive team. I think you kind of get the gist of it. They're really terrible at playing defense. Now let's move on to the best possible defensive team. And for that, I placed them on relegation Stoke. And also, I mean, like, Stoke used to be known for being a really tough defensive team, so I thought it fit. And actually, one of their players legit made it onto the all-defensive team. The best defensive striker that you can get in the game is this man right here, Mame Diouf. Not only does he have, great stamina, good sprint speed, and excellent strength, if we go over to his stand tackle over here, it's a mighty 71. This is pretty darn good. His marking's at 69, and his slide tackle is at 67. So this is really pretty good. Legitimately, you could play him at, right back, probably. And then his strike partner up top is a man who is shaped like a center back, and that is Mario Mandzukic. As you can see, not quite as good as Mame Diouf. He's got 54 in marking, and his slide tackle and his stand tackle are both 64. But still, you can see that he's quite literally a better center back than the center backs on the all shit team. Now I'm cheating a little bit here at the cam position, because technically he's a center mid, but he does have cam eligibility, so we're gonna put Raja Nangaland in here. As you can see, pretty darn good. 78 in the marking, with an 88 in slide tackle and an 86 in stand tackle. You guys already know him in FUT. He's kind of just a short version of Pogba. He can do it all. He's probably more well-balanced than Pogba actually is. And then at the first centerman position, you have the Brazilian Allen, who's 81 rated. As you can see, he's not really that tall either, but he's got excellent defensive stats, 76 in marking, 80 in slide tackle, and then 85 in stand tackle, and then he's got, decent end strength, sprint speed, and stamina. The other center mid is going to be Verratti. I just noticed that this is a really short midfield. As you can see, he's 5'5", can play CM and CDM. He's not the most physical. As you can see, only's got 56 strength, and he's not the fastest with only 62 in the speed and 77 stamina. Is not all that great, but you should look at his defensive stats. He's got 76 in marking. He's got 79, almost 80 in slide tackle, and then he's got an 84 in stand tackle. So the little guy can actually put in a foot or two in a defensive role. The highest defensive rated CDM in the game is Casimiro from Real Madrid, and then his backup is Harvey Martinez from Bayern Munchen. And what is interesting is, I thought for sure that Conte would be in here, but Conte from the CDM position isn't even top 5 for best defensive stats. And what's even more shocking is he's not even the highest defensive rated CDM in the Premier League. That goes to the Everton player, Gay. So take that as you will. The highest defensive rated left back in the game is Felipe Luis, and his backup, the guy in second place, is Jordi Alba. As I mentioned before, Sergio Ramos might be the highest rated center back in the game, but the highest defensive rating goes to actually Chiellini. And second place actually goes to Mart Hummels. I think Ramos is like somewhere around 5th. Highest defensive rated right back is Carvajal, and his backup is Nathaniel Klein, which I thought was pretty interesting. And the order for the center backs went like this. Chiellini was number 1 for defensive stats, then Hummels, then Azpilicueta, then Ramos. So juicy. And then we have David De Gea and Manuel Neuer. Neuer is higher rated, but we all know who the best keeper in the world is. So this is the all-defense team, the best players that you could have in each position if you're just going purely off of defense. And there's an old moniker in American sports that defense wins championships. But we will see. You guys can go ahead and make a prediction. I think we're pretty sure that the all-crap defensive team is going to finish last in the league. I think the interesting thing to wager on is going to be this team right here. Where does this team finish in compared to everyone else in the Premier League? And I think easily they should make top 5, but I don't think they win the whole thing. I'm gonna give myself a little bit of leeway. I think they're gonna finish 2nd or 3rd. If they finish 2nd or 3rd, nothing bad happens to me. You guys already know the whole entire deal. But if I get the prediction wrong, then I have to do a forfeit, and I've been giving away like 20 bucks worth of V-Bucks and that kind of stuff. I'll keep it going right here. If I get the prediction wrong, then I'll give away either 20 bucks worth of V-Bucks or 20 bucks worth of FIFA points. To be qualified for that, go ahead, subscribe if you haven't already, leave a like in this video, and follow me on the Twitters at BMono. Without further ado, we're going to go ahead and put both of these teams into the Premier League, sim all the way to the midpoint of the season, and see how the lads are doing. Take it away, Time Wizard. Go, Time Wizard! Alright, as you can see, we sit on January of 2018. For me to remain unbiased, we're actually simming as Liverpool currently. They don't really matter though. Let's go ahead, let's check it over on player stats and see how the boys are doing. Sadio Mane of Liverpool is top. Oh, interesting. Mario Mandzukic is in 2nd place. He is tied with a whole bunch of people, but he is definitively in 2nd place though. Let's take a look over at assists, and okay, this Deportre guy is leading everyone from Huddersfield Town. Interesting. Anyone from... Oh, Gignac. Okay, so apparently Stoke have bought Gignac, which kind of throws it off a little. I'm pretty sure he's okay at defense, but come on, guys. Ruining my fun. And then we go over to clean sheets, and this is going to be the big telltale here. Courtois is leading the pack with 9 clean sheets, but Manuel Neuer of Stoke City go ahead and make the list. Only with 4. It's not exactly dominating, but, he is in there. And then David De Gea is all the way down in 24th with 2. So in total, they have 6, which is good enough to tie for 2nd. So let's go ahead. Let's take a look at how they are doing right here. And as you can see, Stoke City is in 4th. Okay. They're not too far away from that 3rd position. That's around where I predicted them to be. And unsurprisingly, West Brom is in 20th place with a negative 37 in goal differential at the halfway point. Spectacular. They've allowed 50 goals. Well, what's kind of shocking here is that Stoke actually doesn't have the best defensive record. They've allowed 22 goals, and there's actually been 3 teams that have been better defensively. And what's kind of even more surprising is they are tied for 4th place for the 4th most goals scored of any team in the league. So Stoke City is just bossing it right now. But anyway, let's go ahead. Let's sim to the end of the season and see how they finally lie. I need Stoke City to close the gap on Everton. I think they can do it.
Go time wizard!
All right, June 1st of 2018, the season is over. Let's go ahead and take a look at player stats and see if Mandzukic has held up. He did okay. He did okay. He's in 6th place. Eriksson goes ahead and scored 20 goals. Holy shit. And a guy that I've never heard from Bournemouth, this Stanilas guy, scored 17. So this is already a pretty strange sim. Let's go over to assists, and it's Mohamed Salah who wins the golden ball this season with Willian in 2nd place. Although Gignac has crept up all the way to 6th place, so that bodes well for my Stoke boys. And let's go over to clean sheets. Courtois finishes with 17 clean sheets. Are you kidding me? And we took away their best defender in Azpilicueta. They still finish with 17 clean sheets. Manuel Neuer finishes with 10, which is only good enough for 3rd place because Hugo Lloris actually had more clean sheets than them. So this is interesting. They obviously didn't win the league, but they might have snuck into 3rd place. Let's check it out right here. And we're going to pop it up, and they have... No! Unfortunately, Stoke City... My God, they were able to catch Everton, but Man City came on late like a freight train and almost closed out. It was actually really close at the top right there, but Stoke City's defense didn't live up to their moniker. As you can see, all 3 teams above Stoke City had better defensive records. I simply don't understand. And let's check how terrible West Brom have done. They've finished the league, and it finished rather predictably. As you can see right here, they only managed to score 19 goals. They allowed 103 goals for a whopping goal differential of -84 and only 17 points total. I mean, you know, all things considered, I thought they did okay. I thought for sure they were going to get, you know, a goal differential of 100 plus. But, you know, this has been full of disappointments for all of us. But anyway, I went ahead and I got my prediction wrong, which means I do have to go ahead and give away either 20 bucks worth of V-Bucks or 20 bucks worth of FIFA points. You can go ahead and enter by, as I said before, leave a like on this video, leave a comment down below, and go ahead, hit me up on the Twitters at @BModest and tweet at me a picture of the worst defender that you think is currently playing right now. I expect a lot of Phil Jones. That's pretty much it. If you want to check out my Ultimate Randomizer career mode with Manchester United, where we can put like icons and Mohamed Salahs on there, go ahead and click over here. If you want to check out my other FIFA 18 experiment, where I go ahead and hold a draft where I draft all the other great players from outside the Premier League into the Premier League, it's a fun one. Go ahead and click over here. Thanks to But anyway, it's your boy, Be Modest. Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day. Remember to stay yourself, stay humble, and until next time, stay chubby.